donations over the years, we realize how important it is to continue to educate people, especially here in the Rio Grande Valley, of the importance of organ donation. And we want to thank Knapp Medical Center for the work that they're doing to help promote that and help organizations like TOSA with promoting this message and getting more people involved in what can happen when you donate and the lives that you can save and the impact that you can make. So we're very grateful for this opportunity to encourage people to be a part of this, and we're grateful to all of the staff and leadership who's here to help promote this. So today, before we get started, I'd like to recognize a few folks who are here with us. First of all, of course, to the Knapp Medical Center staff and the team members who are here. Thank you so much for the work that you do daily, saving lives and working with families here across the Rio Grande Valley. I'd like to thank Mr. Lopez, CEO of Knapp Medical Center, for having us here today, and of course being an investor and a community leader here in the city of Wasaco. So thank you, Mr. Lopez, for that. I'd also like to recognize the TOSA reps and special guests that are here with us today. Thank you so much for taking time to be a part of this event. I know we also had a representative for Senator Adam Hinojosa's office here a few moments ago, so thank you so much for being here. We also have Red Coat ambassadors who represent our business community and our Chamber of Commerce, so thank you to our Red Coats, as well as our Wasaco Royal Court, who are our student ambassadors for the city of Wasaco. And you see these lovely individuals sitting up here as well, also part of our leadership here in our city and serving as student leaders across the city of Wasaco. And really important to have youth here to learn about this message and help share that with their peers as well. And of course, today we have joining us our Mayor of Wasaco, Mayor Adrian Gonzalez. Thank you, Mayor, for being here with us today as well. So to kick off today's ceremony and recognitions that will take place this afternoon, I'd like to invite our Mayor up here to the stage to share a few words on behalf of the beautiful city of Wasaco.
Barbara does such an amazing job, doesn't she? I mean, every time that we do these ceremonies where the chambers are part of it, I just know Barbara's going to start off and kind of do such a great job. So, Barbara, thank you again. To Knapp Medical Center, thank you for inviting me and having me here today. It's such an important day, celebrating, the donors. April is the month, I believe, right? So, it's something that a lot of people take advantage of it, or not take advantage of. They don't take advantage of the whole deal. And when they ask, hey, are you a donor? People will just kind of say like, no, but we don't really understand how important it is to be a donor, how many lives that you can save. And at the same time, we don't even know who that life will be. It may be one of our family members, and as I was driving over here, I got my driver's license out, right? Because I hadn't gotten my driver's license, I haven't renewed it in a while. I know I have to do it next year. But I looked and I was like, oh, cool, I'm a donor, so I didn't even know. But then I'm glad I am. So, working along, with Knapp, I want to thank everybody for what they do. I know that we're celebrating something very special. I was just talking to somebody in the back and they were telling me about the whole, the big celebration. And that is so awesome. And I'm so glad that it happened here at our hospital, Knapp Medical Center. And again, I want to thank you guys for everything that you do, for all the lives that you save, and for TOSA, for the partnership that you have with Knapp Medical Center. It's something that we should celebrate every day, because every day is a possibility of saving someone and saving a family member by donating our organs. So again, I just want to thank you guys for having me. To the Knapp staff, thank you for everything that you do, and administration, thank you for everything that you do for our wonderful city. And like Barbara said, it is the beautiful city of Wasaco, and this is our hospital, Knapp Medical Center. So thank you guys, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mayor. And yes, absolutely, as we continue to hear more about April being Donate Life Month, it's important for us to really encourage people to learn about why we're here, celebrating this, and really talking more about the education piece and helping people understand why. Why don't we have enough organ donors here in the Rio Grande Valley? And I think a lot of that goes back to lack of understanding, lack of education as far as why we should do that. I think a lot of times people are scared and don't necessarily know what that process is to expect. And so having events like this and having nationwide celebrations like Donate Life Month is critical to our communities, especially here in the Rio Grande Valley, to educate people and help them understand how you can save a life. And it's as simple as going online and registering to do that. And it's so great that, again, we have this event to do just that. I did want to share a few of the points that were shared with us in regards to some of the stats when it comes to donating and organ donation overall. Is that more than 100,000 people are waiting on the national transplant waiting list for a life-saving organ, and over 10,000 of them are Texans. So just like the mayor mentioned, we don't know whose life you might save by becoming an organ donor. We don't know if that may impact your own families, but it's just so critical to understand that there is definitely a need. Just to hear 100,000 people, that's almost as big as one of our largest cities here in the Rio Grande Valley. People who are in need of that. And if we, as another human being, can offer that kind of support and that kind of life-changing opportunity, it is really up to all of us to be a part of that. So without further ado, we're going to continue with the ceremony today. And I'd like to invite Ms. Natasha Gonzalez. She is the Business Development and Marketing Manager here at Knapp Medical Center, Wasaco, to share a few words and continue with this recognition ceremony.
Thank you all so much for being here with us today. As Barbara mentioned, my name is Natasha Gonzalez, and I am the Marketing and Business Development Manager here at Knapp Medical Center. I want to take a moment, as this is Knapp's first Donate Life celebration, to really thank everybody that makes this event possible. Starting with our Wasaco Chamber of Commerce, who goes above and beyond to be support to the hospital, but also to our Mid-Valley community. Can you all please join me in applauding the Wasaco Chamber of Commerce? I also would like to take a moment to recognize Jesse, Lara, and Sarah Salas. They are our representatives from the Texas Organ Sharing Alliance, who is here today on representing TOSA as a whole. Jesse's in the back. We also have Oli Villarreal from South Texas Blood and Tissue, who is our representative from San Antonio here in our hospital for our Mid-Valley community. I'm going to welcome them up to go ahead and introduce our special guests.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jesse Lara, and I'm a hospital services coordinator. So what I do is I work with the hospitals to educate and advocate for potential organ donors here. So let me tell you a little bit about who Texas Organ Sharing Alliance is. We're one of 56 designated organ procurement organizations, and we service Central and South Texas. And our mission is saving lives through the power of organ donation. And first of all, I'd like to thank the hospital, Knapp Medical Center, and the Wasaco Chamber of Commerce for bringing awareness to our community on the importance of organ donation. 2025 marks our 50 years of serving our communities and advocating for patients that are waiting for life-saving organ transplant. Throughout the years, we've seen our Texas registry grow. Okay, the need for organ donation in the Rio Grande Valley is at a critical state. We have more patients in this area that are waiting for life-saving organ transplant, and we have the least amount of actual individuals who register as an organ, eye, and tissue donor here. So, April Donate Life Month marks a month where we raise awareness for patients that are waiting for a life-saving organ transplant and honor those individuals who have given the gift of life through organ, eye, and tissue donation. Okay, as stated before, we have 16 people die each day while waiting for a transplant in this country, and every 8 minutes a new name is added to that transplant waiting list. Okay, so if you're not registered, if you like more information or register, you can go ahead and scan that QR code. It'll take 2 minutes to save up to 8 lives and enhance the lives of 72 individuals. So please. So I'd like to introduce 2 special guests. One is a donor family speaker and the other one is a recipient. So Kristen Sandoval, her brother Jaimito was a heart recipient and became a tissue donor when he passed. Kristen?
from underneath me, and today I'll be focusing on 3 pivotal moments. On October 26, 2004, my brother was born. The next day I go to school fidgeting because I hadn't given out the bubblegum cigars yet. I was in my 5th grade social studies class when they called me into the principal's office. I thought to myself that I couldn't be in trouble because I hadn't given out the bubblegum cigars yet. I get to the office and see tears and scared faces, mitral valve regurgitation and aortic stenosis. And those are big words for a 10-year-old. I had so many emotions and conversations were full of medical jargon. Then we were faced with a daunting prospect. My brother, the newest addition to our family of 4, could very much die before we had a chance to really get to know him. They had already tried to fix a valve, 1 surgery at 1 day old. I had held him and really known him for but a fraction of the time that just about anybody else had. This was the beginning of not seeing my parents as often. This was the beginning of how I learned to replace a G-tube and what a pacemaker was. It was the beginning of weekend trips to Corpus, not for the aquarium or the Lexington, but to the really cool play area in the lobby where my brother was intubated and unrecognizable just upstairs. And that was what our life was. Easter in the parking lot of Driscoll, months of rides home from school while our parents were very busy somewhere else. Flying unaccompanied at 11 years old to Chicago, guiding ourselves as 2 siblings through airports across the country while medical teams poured their hearts and minds out to save my brother's life. On his first birthday, they delivered bad news. He had poor perfusion to his bowels and he didn't have much time left. They had to remove 2/3 of his intestines and hope that there was a transplant center that would take the case that in all honesty was considered critical or a long shot. The news was hard and my brother didn't look like himself. He was so yellow from jaundice and he was sedated. Then we had hope. A heart transplant could and would be the only option to save his life. After months on the transplant list, watching my brother's health deteriorate, we got the call while I was at school. We had moved to Chicago. My brother was a patient at Comer Children's Hospital. He had previously received a mechanical heart valve replacement there, so they decided to take the case. My parents found a local school that would accept us in the middle of the year. Being a sibling for a long-term patient in the hospital brought us so many invaluable memories, but if I'm being honest, when I was walking to school through the snow every day, it felt like a bittersweet dream that was always on the brink of a nightmare. I never knew when I'd receive the call that my brother wouldn't make it or that he would go into cardiac arrest again after 5 times waiting for his heart. But that call came after I asked Santa for a transplant, realized he doesn't grant wishes, and a month after a very complicated Christmas, we got the call. That moment felt like a movie, and while it was the most extraordinary day, it was something special because from that moment on I knew, even as early as 12, that I had to honor the legacy of the hole in the heart of the family that lost someone, and in spite of devastating grief and an impossible scenario, made the most profound choice to allow my brother to continue living with their missing piece's heart. Had it not been for the transplant, I would have never known the extraordinary person that was my brother. He blossomed after a hard surgical recovery and more cardiac arrests. He became a relatively normal sibling that added to our family in ways I never imagined. He pulled my hair, learned to sign a few words, was never able to speak in the normal sense, but knew how to communicate, I love you, and call me E instead of Titi or sister or Kristen. My brother was finally a kid. His birthday parties, so close to Halloween, became costume parties. He loved Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, and Lightning McQueen, and Mater from Cars. Eventually, he attended school, went on the school bus, had a picture in the yearbook. I learned to change G-tube so he could strap on his backpack and run around with his 24-hour feeding pump, going as nonstop as he was. I chased him down the hall with his IV poles wheels spinning as fast as they could. His care required 12-hour intravenous nutrition through a central line. He wasn't in the hospital bed anymore. He used and loved his Lightning McQueen bed. Needed his alone time, ate sour cream and onion chips, licking them and putting them straight back in the bag, and would demand my attention, distracting me from homework so we could lay in bed and watch movies on his PSP. One of our favorite things to do was go to McDonald's for dollar menu fries and large sweet tea. We weren't in the hospitals as often anymore. We dragged my youngest brother in protest to watch my basketball games. We played hide and seek in our own way. He loved a bubble gun blast to the face despite my parents' protestations. We laughed until we cried or screamed through the tickle fights. I'd count the freckles on his face, balance plastic cups on his head, and swing him as we walked the airports while we found our gate. I had to have my knee surgery after his checkups and right before our Make-A-Wish Foundation to Disney World. There was nothing like the motivation of the coolest trip, accommodations built into the beautiful experience for people just like us, a family dealing with the immunosuppressed presence, and a world filled with joy and germs, and a battle we constantly honor because, as it never left my mind, someone made the choice to give this time to us. We spent Christmas Day at Disney World in December of 2010. Then, the day after the 5-year anniversary of his transplant, another phone call changed everything. My brother was gone. His little fever turned into the worst day of my life. I had pushed away the negative thoughts all day and was finally going to the children's hospital for him one last time. At that point, grief was complicated, and in all honesty, it felt like my life would never be anything but complicated. There was one thing amidst all the confusion and heartache, however, that was abundantly clear. We would pay our life and experience forward. My brother was to be a donor in any and all ways he could. His story was completed when he became an eye and tissue donor. To think that someone possibly could look at their own sister walk around Disney World or onto a roller coaster, or have a wound patched up and healed from skin grafts to protect their own immune system, is something that has me in awe of medicine and the strength of the human mind and body. This was all done many years ago, and since then there have been countless advancements made in the art of medicine. My brother's story for me was just the beginning as an advocate and an artist. My path didn't end up leading to a career in healthcare. I couldn't keep that direction after I lost my first patient. Now I'm a full-time DJ, focusing on the celebration of life at its events. And I'm here today in effort to support those that do this for a living, to continue to help people keep living. So I ask you to consider that the conversations you have reflect the importance of patient and family circumstances. Normalize the conversation. For me, the idea of what to do with my body when my spirit left was a no-brainer. My brother did an excellent job of allowing me to process what that all meant. For most people, however, it's a scary one and an even harder conversation to have. I ask that instead we reimagine it as a beautiful one. I encourage everyone to reframe their perspective on organ donation. It's a conversation to discuss life and not an invitation for death. I can't imagine my brother's life being anything but extraordinary. While Jaime lived just a short time, his impact, I hope, continues to reverberate through and past time, so more people have their own story to tell. My brother is still with me in so many ways, and it is in his memory and in the memory of George and Ashley, to name a few friends impacted by organ donation as donors or with their own stories, that this testimonial and push for understanding and commitment to organ donation continue on. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Cool.
President.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. These testimonials are so important. I think they speak volumes more than all of us have been saying. Organ donation is very important. These speak volumes. Just before I announce the next speaker, if you just before at the end of it, we're going to have some cake. And if you see the image on the cake, it's actually Donate Life America's theme. This year's theme is Let It Sing. Okay, let it sing as spring brings renewal. As someone waiting for life-saving organ transplant gets that second chance of life. And then there's also a cardinal there stating, as if you see a cardinal, that means someone from the past came to visit. Introducing our next speaker. Her name is Teresita Mejia. She's a 2-time kidney recipient.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm a bit nervous, but thankful to be here. Okay, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Teresita Mejia. I am from Brownsville, Texas. I'm 29 years old, a 2-time kidney recipient. My end-stage renal failure started from a condition called hypoplasia kidney disease, meaning my kidneys didn't fully develop while I was in the womb. We didn't find out about my birth defects until I was 10 years old, only because I felt an extremely tiredness, weak, and very yellow. After a few doctor's appointments, I was sent to Driscoll Children's Hospital in Corpus Christi, Texas, where doctors confirmed my diagnosis, and I was put on dialysis immediately for about 4 years. I missed all my middle school years because of traveling back and forth to Corpus Christi for treatments 3 to 4 times a week, sometimes even long treatments prepared to me on 12 hours a day. My first transplant was done in Driscoll Children's Hospital back in 2010. We still remember getting the call, where it was my fourth call, the call where the transplant coordinator actually said, "This kidney is for you. You are number 1 on the list." My second kidney transplant came March 2024 in Methodist Transplant Institute in San Antonio, Texas. I feel so much more energized after my transplants. I am now able to live a somewhat normal life without the need of dialysis. Although I have to take anti-rejection meds for the rest of my life, the rest of my kidney life. I attend doctor's appointments regularly, like the cardiologist, pulmonologist. I see 2 transplant teams to keep up with the kidney. After my first transplant, I was able to attend high school and not only have to miss so much school to go to treatment. I was able to celebrate my 15th birthday, walk the line with my graduation class, and later go to school to become a medical assistant. After going through all this, I would like to encourage more people to register to become organ donors. Be a hero, save somebody's life. I like to spread awareness and share with you all. Anyone can donate, regardless of the age or gender. One person can save up to 8 lives. Please consider becoming an organ donor. And giving the gift of life, please talk to your family and members and encourage them to do the same as well. It is very important for you guys to register. Well, it's important for anyone to register because one person can save 8 lives and be a hero in somebody's life, like my donors are for me. Thank you so much for having me.
So now we're going to the recognition part of our presentation. So the most important person in the entire organ donation process is that individual who registered to say yes to organ donation, or that family who actually stated yes, I want to save somebody else's life in their darkest, probably one of the most darkest times in their lives. We would like to recognize some individuals that we just had an organ donor here this weekend here at Knapp Medical Center. And these individuals went above and beyond, volunteering to make that decision happen, making sure that we honored the decision of the donor and saved one person's life. So I'd like to recognize a couple of individuals. If I mention your name, if you can please come out. We have a beautiful plaque for you. I'd like to start with Griselda Gonzalez from the OR at Knapp Medical Center. Bobby Garza. Jerry Watley. Perla. I don't want to pronounce her last name, so I won't. Jesus Martel, please. And from the ICU department, Patrick, our clinical. I also would like this individual to please stand up, as she is the leader of this department who made everything happen. Please please, Aurora, if you'd like to stand up so we can also recognize you.
Hello everyone, I'm Olegario Villarreal and I work for South Texas Bedding Tissue. And I want to thank everyone for coming in today and also the partnership that we have with Knapp Medical Center. Just to talk about South Texas Bedding Tissue, we are the tissue bank for most of the hospitals here in the valley, including Knapp. And wanted to share with you that one tissue donor can enhance and save the life up to 75 people per one donor. So just to share some numbers, with the partnership that we have with Knapp in 2024, 520 lives were impacted because of tissue donation. And this year we're in a good track, to be helping those people that are in need. As you know, the RGV is ground zero for diabetes, and high blood pressure. So there's a lot of need for those patients for tissue donation and for tissue graft. So first, thanks to everyone, and also the partnership that we have and the support that we have from the ICU and the ER and all the departments here in Knapp Medical Center. And also we wanted to recognize a nurse. Her name is Suzanne Guerrero, but Mr. Patrick is going to be, if he can come over and present this award to her. So we'll give it to Mr. Patrick, and this is one of the, here we go. And that's one of the things that we'd like to do also for the nurses, when they call and the patient becomes a donor, we like to come back and give that nurse, support, and also to thank, because, they're supporting our mission and supporting our saving and enhancing lives through tissue donation. Again, thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Wonderful. Let's give another round of applause for the medical professionals, our special guest speakers today. And before we move on, I would like to ask if we could have all those recognized today, as well as our special guest speakers, to join us up front here for a photo. So really quick, if we can have you bring the plaque you're presented with today, you can join us up here. And we want to take a quick group photo. We can have you all stand up here if that's easier. Just right up here in front, and we're going to take a few photos.
Okay, let me have y'all look right here.
So we're going to look at Anthony first. Anthony, wave your hand real quick. There we go. Big smiles.
Can we have y'all come on this side?
Perfect. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Hold on.
Oh yeah, let me go.
Jesse and Ollie, we want y'all in these photos too, so if y'all can jump in here. We'll provide these photos to Knapp so they can share with you as well.
Okay, one more up here. 1, 2, and 3.
All right. Once again, thank you to all those involved. We do want to recognize Texas Organ Sharing Alliance, South Texas Blood and Tissue as well, for all that you do and your partnership with Knapp Medical Center and all the hospitals across the Rio Grande Valley. And on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce and of course Knapp Medical Center, we want to thank everybody for being here to hear this message. But most importantly, we want you to go back and take this information with you, share with others, and encourage others to be organ donors as well. And there's lots of ways to do that. You can check out the website here. You can scan the QR code for more information. on how to be an organ donor. But please go and educate others about how important that is and how you can save a life. I think after hearing the testimonials today and hearing how your lives have been impacted, you know, in both sides of the story, right? But everything that can happen from just becoming an organ donor. So we want to encourage everyone to do that and look into it and ask questions. I know for some people it might be an intimidating process or you're just not sure, but when you hear these stories and these testimonials, this is exactly why we need more people to be organ donors here in our state of Texas, but most importantly here in the Rio Grande Valley. And there's lots of great people in this community that can educate you about that. In particular, our amazing leadership and staff, medical professionals here from Knapp Medical Center. So once again, thank you all so much for joining us today for this presentation. Thank you to Knapp Medical Center for inviting us as your chamber to be here. And again, we want to continue to celebrate National Donate Life Month this month of April. We encourage you to check that out, and we're here for any support that you might need. And again, thank you all so much for joining us. Before you leave, we do want to take a few photos, but reminder that there's some refreshments, a beautiful cake here for this celebration. So once again, thank you all so much, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.